On this channel, I usually look at the features and development of space games, mainly Star Citizen. But every once in a while, I like to ruffle a few feathers and talk about the ships coming into the game. Today we'll be looking at the ships and vehicles in Star Citizen that we know are in active development and may come in the next few updates. And if you'd like to win a copy of the game and a ship for yourself, stick around until the end of the video. Thank you for coming to my Tomato Talk. Technically not released in the live game, the Vulture is actually already complete and ready to be implemented into the game, so we won't talk about it too much. But this is the first solo salvage ship in the game, offering a new form of gameplay and a cozy one-person worker ship. It comes in at 33 meters in length and carries 12 SCU of cargo, so it's a pretty compact package. If you're looking for more heavy-duty salvaging potential, you may be more interested in the Reclaimer. Unfortunately, I don't think you'll be able to purchase the Vulture in-game until the Q3 patch of this year, considering the weird way they're deciding to keep ships released in November out of the 3.18 patch in March. But if you're looking to try this ship out, there will be tons of folks willing to give you a test drive. Either way, the Vulture is a significant addition to the game, marking the start of a new profession and looking nice and industrial while doing it. Another new professional ship likely coming this year is the towboat. I use the word professional lightly, since we don't know the actual earning potential of the ship just yet, but the ARGO SRV is likely to introduce ship tractor beams into the game later this year. I'll have a whole video on these tractor beams because they are quite the game changer themselves, but the SRV is a good ship to see in production. Not only is it a very useful ship, it is a ship from the infamous backlog that players would like to see eliminated rather than new concepts being introduced. The SRV is also quite a compact ship, at about 29 meters in length, and supposedly only allowing for 10 SCU of cargo storage. It mostly just consists of a bed, small social area, cockpit, and a massive tractor beam assembly on the back. Once released, it should be able to manipulate interactable items such as other ships, either to help them get out of atmosphere or maybe just to steal them, derelicts, boxes, mineable rocks, and of course, dead bodies. Additionally, this will be a key part of industrial game loops as players meet each other in space to transfer ore, gas, cargo, and other materials that need a tractor beam to do efficiently. The ship seems to be almost done with production and will likely just be waiting on tractor beam technology to wrap up as well before being released. The San'tok.yāi is a very interesting ship. It's a human variant of Xi'an military spacecraft built by the alien corporation AOPOA. This same company also makes the Car2All and the Nox hoverbike, both also original Xi'an vehicles. For more information on the Xi'an, I'd check out Loremaster the Astro Historian on YouTube. The ship is a medium fighter built for two, hosting dual vector thrusters and a unique design for extreme handling. The name actually translates to ship that creates genuine fear, but we've not gotten much info or looked into it to know if that'll ring true. The concept images give us a good idea of the looks, but as the ship has just finished white box and will soon be taking its true shape in the engine, we'll have to see what it actually ends up looking like in the end. It was made to go against other fighting ships like the Super Hornet and Saber, and will continue to add to the vast amount of 1 to 2 person fighters in the game. Many will be happy to know this is another ship from the backlog introduced back in 2018 that's now seeing production and implementation. The Origin X1 is the hoverbike that confuses everyone. It was revealed back in 2017 before 3.0 and was predicted to be in-game in a 3.x patch, so technically it's still on time. But it has confused players for years, as other hoverbikes have had little problem being implemented, and even the 400i, the Origin ship that is constructed with a vehicle bay made 100% specifically for the X1, released without so much as a nod to the X1 entering production. After all this, the reasoning behind the vehicle not being released started to grow a bit thin, so it's great to see the ship on the progress tracker and entering production, as stated on a recent Star Citizen Live, even if it was a bit unplanned.
We just finished the San'tok.yāi white box, and I think we're moving on to the X1 after that, yeah? So hopefully that comes out this year. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe it's up in the air. We'll see. Wow.
Weren't actually supposed to mention the okay. Yeah, so the X1. There we go. All right.
There isn't much else to be said about the bike though. It's a luxury hover bike with a couple variants for fighting and racing, and it should benefit greatly from being built so late in the process. Not only are ships built later better designed and constructed in general, it'll also benefit from the recent hovercraft improvements that we've seen. While it won't make a huge difference to the game, it's another choice for the players, and another vehicle to strike off that backlog list that keeps taunting some. The RSI Lynx is a ground vehicle much like the Ursa Rover, and made by the same company. This is a more capable and luxurious vehicle than its counterpart, but we don't entirely know how just yet. There have been mentions of a jacuzzi or a bar, but that is very old information that might not work with the concept any longer. Much like the X1, this rover is meant to pair with a ship with the same manufacturer. In this case, the RSI Lynx is meant to go with the luxury passenger transport, the RSI Constellation Phoenix. As far as development goes, our last update was that it was in white box back in November, and we know that an all-new ground vehicle entered the gray box phase in January, which lines up pretty well. So there's a good chance this unnamed vehicle in the monthly report is the Lynx, and it's possible given the ground vehicle timelines that we could see this at some point in the next couple updates. With scheduled work ending this quarter, we'll keep an eye on this ground vehicle for a possible 3.19 or following patch release. Luckily, this is another one from the backlog, for those who are keeping track. The Crusader Spirit series is a very, very good looking series of ships, but comes at a weird time. Announced at the end of 2022, it entered production pretty quickly, and looks to possibly be releasing within a year of that announcement. This does not happen often, as ships are usually released straight to flyable or are in concept for years. The reason it could be different this time is because of a new feature coming with a series of ships: passenger transport. I have a video where I talk at length about this feature, and there are signs this profession might not be close to being ready, but I do see a possibility that the E1 variant of this ship will arrive with passenger transport missions. On the December monthly report, we were informed that escape rafts on the VIP variant are already fully functional, and the other two variants, the C1 focused on cargo with 48 SCU of carrying capacity and a tractor beam, as well as the A1 focused on bombing, have shown plenty of functionality progress as well. The actual chances of these ships including their features is still not confirmed though. From what I know, the Crusader A2 bomber has still not received its small size 3 bombs, so there's a chance the A1 also won't receive its size 5 bombs when released. But that would be weird. Regardless, there seems to be a concerted effort to get this ship released in 2023, and I'm certainly excited for this one. It looks good. My only real downside to it so far is the amount of usable space compared to its overall size. It's really just a hallway, much like the Corsair or Constellation design, but still features huge wings. Actually, kind of like the Corsair. While it's meant to compete with the Cutlass Black or Freelancer, it comes in at 46 meters in length and 43 in width, compared to the Cutlass at 37 by 26. We'll have to see how this balances out in-game, but to be honest, I couldn't care less. I'm here for the good look of this ship, and I'll find a way to make it work. Don't expect this in the first half of the year though. The ship's only reached gray box phase in January, and the progress tracker shows work continuing on until June, so this will likely be something to look for later in the year. The oldest ship on this list is also surprisingly and understandably the ship with the most B-roll. We've been seeing the Hull C for at least 4 years now, with various bits and pieces of work being done on the behemoth, but it's also been blocked by a couple key things. See, the Hull C is pretty big. It holds its freight on the exterior of the ship, and it's meant primarily to run routes between major hubs in different star systems. These key points combine for a headache of a ship. And when I say it's big, I mean big. For perspective, the current heavy cargo hauler in the game is the Hercules C2, which carries 696 SCU of cargo. Nice. The Hull C carries 4,608 SCU, and it's all in larger 32 SCU boxes. and when this ship is fully laden, you can't even land planetside. So you can understand why this ship might require some fundamental differences in the way the game works with cargo. Honestly, it makes me wonder what the heck needs to happen to the game for the whole E to make sense, which carries 8,192 SCU. Star Citizen also hasn't had multiple star systems yet, and the current economy has simply not been big enough to accommodate Hull C level cargo halls. In addition, that exterior cargo was really hard to get working due to the way the physics grids on the ship would need to transform along with the ship to allow for box attachments. This was a very difficult concept of a ship. But as we've seen recently, the Hull A is proof that the physics grids have been figured out. The only technical problem left would be introducing larger cargo boxes, which are planned with the upcoming second step in the cargo refactor. There is also a new system coming, Pyro, which is tangibly closer to release than any other point, though I know that'll warrant a couple chuckles from the crowd. And while that might not be the best place for a Hull C to go, it does show a broader expansion in the game that could make a Hull C more useful. But the biggest hanging point is the economy. It's still nowhere near simulating enough supply and demand to make these ships worth it, and we never really get to hear what the immediate plan for the economy is, pointing towards a drawn-out timeline for that implementation. So there are definitely a couple of reasons why this ship might not be able to come this year, but there are also a couple good signs the ship is ready for implementation, and the studio themselves said the ship has gone on sale for the last time before becoming flyable. While this could mean it won't go on sale ever again, we could also see the ship come in before IAE at the end of the year when it normally would be on sale, if they figure out a way to do it without crashing the servers. Either way, we can see on the progress tracker that scheduled work is finishing up, and both in a recent monthly report and on a recent Star Citizen Live, we were made aware that efforts were going into polishing the ship, going through the walkway and interior around transforming section, rather than the more integral design of the ship. It's good news, as this is one of the older ships in that dreaded backlog, and should make quite a few happy finally being added. With the second cargo refactor likely introducing expanded cargo hauling, loading timers, bigger boxes, and freight elevators, this ship could be a fantastic cherry on top of a cargo-focused update later this year. Just be ready to hire a lot of protection when you fly it. Finally, we have our unannounced ships. These generally show up in the ship art section of monthly reports, but also sometimes get teased by the devs in Star Citizen Live.
Teams both in the UK and the US are working on some really cool ships, which I can't really say.
There's
too
that
much
one
about,
really
but
cool ship.
There's
the one that
there's
does the
more
thing
than
and
one.
does the thing. It's really cool.
There's more than one. So
I really
we're doing
like
some
it.
really cool.
Really excited
new,
about that.
Yeah, we're doing some really cool new things we haven't done before. So that's going to be exciting.
We're currently aware of 3 vehicles and 2 ships being worked on, per the monthly reports. One of those possibly being the RSI Lynx. While leaks have pointed at possible names for these ships, we have no other official info that points to what they will do. And while some might not like it, there are also likely to be other ships announced and released coming this year as well. If you're interested in keeping up with the news surrounding these ships, Star Citizen, or the development of the game as a whole, you can subscribe here to get new videos every week. And if you're looking for not so fancy content covering these types of things, I also have a second channel with more casual content. Weekly podcasts, gameplay videos, quick info drops, and more. And if you're just looking for a community to talk about Star Citizen, gaming in general, and other stuff, we have a growing community on Discord where you are always welcome to stop by and maybe even join our org. And before you go, this channel is about to hit 50,000 subscribers. We want to say thanks and throw another giveaway to gift out 2 copies of the game with one of 2 Drake ships, the Cutlass or the Cutter. All you have to do to enter is subscribe and hit the link below for additional options. On top of that, as always, I'll be hiding extra codes throughout my videos that can give you more points towards the giveaway. There will be 2 winners, and they'll be announced the day after we hit 50K. Whether you enter or not, I hope you learned something new in this video, and I'll catch you in the next.